Game started.
Shortcut from Mexico plays d4. Well, let's try. I've been trying to play the Grinfeld lately. Everybody's got their own system, I guess. This is not a Grinfeld. If they play pawn to c4, then you can play c5 and d5 rather and get a Grinfeld. Okay, so he's just developing his knights. I will fianchetto and probably play d5 anyway. Aha, he played pawn to pawn to e4. Okay, I want to slow down this push to e5. I'm not sure where I want the knight to go. Takes, takes. e5 takes, takes. Probably have to exchange queens and find a square for the knight. Let's go ahead and castle. Maybe I can get a King's Indian set up here. So pawn to e5 is that playable here? It's one of those, lots of times there's like this tactic of a discovered attack. So pawn here, pawn takes, knight takes. Then I can play, yeah, knight takes e4 here with an attack on his knight. Let's go ahead and play it. See what he does. His knight is blocking the c-pawn, which is pretty normal for the knight to develop here. Okay, he wants to trade queens. Now, after I take, maybe I should just play rook back to e8. Now, but then he could defend the knight. So if I want to get my pawn back, I have to play this move here. So knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes. Does he have some kind of desperado, like taking a pawn here? Maybe. Maybe he does. Okay, he defends his knight. So I can take over here. I can defend my knight. I can retreat. I think taking and messing up his pawns looks attractive, although it does open some lines, so I may have to be a little bit careful in this in this manner of playing. But well, I think I get a tempo with the bishop on c2. He can attack. He can attack b7. Can he? Yeah, bishop to f3 would have been an interesting move there, because I can't I can't push the pawn forward. Or he could attack it with the rook and I push it forward and then he plays bishop f3. I guess against bishop f3 I always have c3. But he's played none of the above. So let's develop the knight. Maybe knight here. Coming over to f6. Okay, now he spots this. It's a very logical idea to put the rook on an open file and go after a weak pawn. And now he's got a nice diagonal for his light-squared bishop. So I'm going to continue bringing my knight over to the king's side. I think more of the action will be on the king's side. So he's gained a tempo on my rook. I guess I should go to b8. If I went to c8, he had this funny move, bishop c7. So he's left this knight under-defended. So knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Is there any punishment for that? My back rank is not that weak. And this isn't a bishop I'm so reluctant to give up. It's worth a pawn. Okay, he's just challenging my rook. I could defend the rook. I think I will. If he trades, I'll get an advanced rook, and we're getting towards the endgame where it's more important to have an active king than to have pieces on the back rank securely defended. We're down to a rook and 2 pieces, so this is an endgame. And well, he wants to go into an endgame, a pawn up, where I have a better pawn structure, but he has the 2 bishops. Well, let's play it.
Check.
See what we get. So king here, he's got bishop here, check. I'm just trying to activate my king. bishop there. He can, there is an idea here. He can bring his bishop to let's see. So if I play c5, he plays bishop b8. I play a6. He plays bishop b7, and he's picking up a pawn there. So let's start with c6. Yeah, it's interesting. So maybe this wasn't such a great endgame. Okay, I need to get my pieces out anyway.
Check.
Okay, so he's going after this pawn. These are on dark squares. These are on light squares, but my king is nearby. So I can attack his loose pawn here in two different ways. Knight here or knight here. Maybe knight here, and then I'll give my king a little bit of time to go over and support the knight. And put it on a dark square, I guess. Okay, get all my pawns on dark squares so his bishop can't use them for targets, and then I'll bring my king over here to attack his pawns. Now his king can't get through unless his bishop moves. His king needs to get to one of these squares. He needs to get to where his bishop is to try and break through. But he can keep my king out too. So not such a great endgame for me. So I have to take. He takes. And have a check there, not looking so great. If I move the knight with check now, knight here, check. Where does the king go? To stay in touch with the pawn, it goes here. And I have knight here, check.
Check.
Let's try one check anyway. Now the knight here check is possible. And but if his king attacks it, I don't have any safe square to go to from there. So I guess I defend the knight. Reluctantly defending the knight. Aha. So he went there. So I have check. King attacking the knight also still traps the knight, huh? Okay. So if he pushes the pawn, I will take it. So I assume he's just going to take here. But then he can try and enter with the king. So pawn takes, king takes, bishop moves, and he's threatening to come to this key square where the bishop is. And my knight has been chased to a square where it can't defend. Cannot defend this, what is this, d5 square. So it's actually pretty serious threat for white. I have some counterplay. If his king gets too far away, I guess I can go after the a pawn here and try to do something.
Check.
See where his bishop goes. See, I really wanted my knight to be on this square on c7 to guard the d5 square, and then I prevent his king from entering. Okay, so he's letting me maneuver. Let's push his king back.
Check.
From here, I guess the knight can go to e7 and cover this d5 square as well. So I think this may be a better endgame for me, but probably should be drawn with correct play. But I was thinking, well, I can poke and prod a little bit, because I can attack his pawns and he can't attack mine except with his king. So as long as I can keep his king out, as long as I can keep his king from penetrating. Let's see, I need to guard this square though. And this square, so it's difficult for me too. I can't can't easily move my king. Oh, the bishop went there. That's interesting. This king still can't get through. So pawn, rook, king, king. All those squares are covered. And if I now, yeah, he's created a Zugzwang. I can't hold all of these spaces. So where, if I move my king, I guess he will come to this square, huh? Yes, indeed. And now it's going to be difficult to keep him from getting this pawn. Okay. I'm going to maneuver my knight around again. Okay, I'm hitting his bishop, and I'm getting in position to defend my pawns. This pawn can be defended from 2 squares. Okay, this is interesting. So I take, he takes, I push, and he's too far away to stop it from queening, so his only choice is to go after my pawn. So he takes, I push again, he gets out of the way, I push again, he pushes, and I queen first. So this should be winning. It's important not to waste any time retaking pawns. You just got to push and push. And so by 1 tempo, pinning the pawn, that's convenient. He probably should have gone to the other side. Okay, well, not a great game, but kind of an instructive endgame.
White resigns.
So I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.